It's time for America Outdoors Radio. The fast-paced hour of outdoors radio ahead is not only awesome, but unlike those other shows, you can actually sleep in for this one. Better still, we've got a special Pacific Northwest edition for you, sponsored by Northwest Sportsman Magazine, Rugged Point Lodge on Vancouver Island, and Northwest Fishing Guides out of our hometown here in Everett. You won't find this version of America Outdoors Radio anywhere else. It's the Pacific Northwest edition of America Outdoors Radio. Brought to you by Fox Sports 1380 KRKO.
We've got a new sponsor for the Pacific Northwest edition of America Outdoors Radio. His name is Tom Burlingame. He's the longtime owner of XL Fishing Charters, who fishes out of Nia Bay and CQ, and he'll join us at the bottom of the hour to tell you about the blackmouth salmon fishery getting ready to open up in a couple of weeks off of CQ, a fishery where you can keep not one, but two blackmouth. Tom will come back at the end of the show to tell you exactly how he goes about catching these great winter salmon with some advice that will help you catch them too. But first, let's talk about what's hot and what's not here in the Pacific Northwest. The Seattle Boat Show has been hot, but today is your last day to attend. So if you haven't gone there yet, head to CenturyLink Field and take in all of the boats and the seminars too. Out in Puget Sound, the hot spot were the waters off of the Edith's Hook boat ramp out of Port Angeles, where 40 anglers in 25 boats landed 44 Chinook salmon on Sunday the 29th. On the other side of the coin, anglers launching from the Everett boat ramp had a rough time of it last weekend, with Creel Checkers reporting 30 boat anglers landed a grand total of 2 blackmouth. Ouch. Heading to Southwest Washington, things were quite frankly grim. 2 boat anglers on the Cowlitz River had no catch, and 28 bank anglers only managed to keep 2 steelhead. On the Cowieman, Lewis, and Kalama Rivers, 86 anglers caught 9 steelhead and 1 coho salmon, and on the Kalama River, 5 bank anglers that were checked were all skunked. Moving on to the mighty Columbia. From Bonneville Dam to McNary Dam, boat anglers in the Dalles Pool were catching some steelhead, but the effort was very light, as was the catch. Turning to sturgeon. Between Bonneville and McNary Dam, boat anglers in the Bonneville Pool and bank anglers in the Dalles Pool were catching some legal sturgeon. Through January 22nd, an estimated 12 of the 325 fish guideline had been taken in the Bonneville Pool. Meanwhile, boat anglers in the Dalles and John Day pools are catching some walleye, and it's just about time for those really big walleye to be coming into the boat. One more thing to tell you about, the Pacific Northwest Sportsman Show. It's the biggest sportsman show that takes place on the West Coast. As a matter of fact, it's the second biggest in the entire country. It's taking place February 8th through the 12th at the Expo Center in Portland. Definitely worth the trip. When you get there, stop by the Northwest Sportsman booth and chat with me. I'll be there Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. So there you go. That's what's hot and what's not this week in the Pacific Northwest.
And with that, let's head to this week's national edition of America Outdoors Radio.
2017 is here, and that means it's time to go to the biggest and the best sportsman shows in the Northwest. Brought to you by O'Laughlin Trade Shows. Things kick off with the Washington Sportsman Show from January 25th through the 29th at the State Fairgrounds in Puyallup. Following that is one of the biggest shows in the country, the Pacific Northwest Sportsman Show, taking place at the Expo Center in Portland from February 8th through the 12th. And don't forget the Central Oregon Sportsman Show, March 2nd through the 5th at the Deschutes County Fairgrounds in Redmond. Check out seminar schedules, special attractions, and discounts at otshows.com. That's otshows.com for the biggest and best sportsman shows in the Northwest.
Backcountry hunters and anglers, the men and women working hard to keep public lands in public hands. Check us out at backcountryhunters.org.
Are you an outfitter, sporting goods retailer, boat dealer, or someone else in the outdoors industry? If you are, you know targeted advertising works best, and what would work better than advertising with America Outdoors Radio? Our hour-long show is heard throughout Seattle, Everett, and the East Side every Saturday morning, and your message will be heard there too. Better still, our rates are way more affordable than you think. Want to find out more? Contact me, John Cruz, through my website at AmericaOutdoorsRadio.com. That's America Outdoors Radio, bringing you more business.
It's time for America Outdoors Radio, the show that covers the outdoor scene across the US of A and the entire continent. Fishing, hunting, conservation, outdoor recreation, and great destinations, we cover it all every week. It's your country, your outdoors. Let's explore it together with your host, John Cruz.
Welcome to the show. Are you an upland bird hunter? Are you really passionate about conservation? Do you like to mingle with other bird hunters and have fun outside of the season? If so, now is the time to book a flight or drive to Minneapolis so you can attend the annual Pheasant Fest put on by Pheasants Forever and Quail Forever. The event is taking place February 17th through the 19th at the Convention Center in Minneapolis. In addition to some great meals and entertainment from a Johnny Cash tribute band, you'll find a whole bunch of seminars and sessions during the day, along with raffles, exhibitors, and the chance to attend a conservation career fair and shooting sports clinic. This conservation fair and shooting sports clinic in particular sounds very interesting. It's designed for coaches and student athletes who are into the shooting sports. They will get to learn about careers they can have in the conservation field, whether it be with Pheasants Forever or with state agencies or federal agencies, and they'll also get instruction for some real shooting pros about how to be better shooters and how to train better shooters. If you are a coach out there, or if you are a student athlete who is a shooter, I think you really want to attend this year's Pheasant Fest just for this alone. It looks like it's going to be a great time, but time is running out to get your tickets. The last day to do so, February 10th. Find out more at pheasantsforever.org. This week on America Outdoors Radio, we'll be bringing you part 2 of our 3-part series recorded at SHOT Show about outdoor recreation in Wyoming when we talk with Game and Fish Director Scott Talbot about the great fishing they have there. We'll stay at SHOT Show in Las Vegas for our second conversation of this broadcast when we chat with Skylar Stewart. He's with Cobalt Kinetics, and he'll tell you about the futuristic-looking AR-15 style rifles they manufacture with some very interesting adaptations built into them. And these adaptations, well, let's put it this way. They're going to help you fire faster and more accurately. And if you are a competitive shooter, maybe doing the whole 3-gun game, you're going to love what Cobalt Kinetics is doing with their firearms. If you are shooting modern sporting rifles, you'll need ammunition for them. And some of the best ammo around is made in Rapid City, South Dakota by Black Hills Ammunition. Mike Wright will tell you the story about this company and what else they have to offer shooters. We'll also tell you about another unique thing that separates Black Hills Ammunition from their competitors, and it has to do with their people. We'll leave the floor of SHOT Show after that so we can talk to Paul Adams. He hails from New Zealand and is the founder of Stabycraft, a very unique boat you may want to check out for your saltwater and big water angling needs. And after we talk to Paul Adams, we'll talk to Joe Pate. He is the producer of Exposure Shows. Joe will tell you about the 4 sportsman shows he's got in Western Oregon, Southern Oregon, and Northern California. And one of them, the Eugene Boat and Sportsman Show, is going on this weekend. Finally, in our Outdoors News segment, we'll tell you about an executive order President Obama signed on his way out of office that may change the way you hunt and fish on our U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service refuges. And we've got news about the shooting sports to include what new pistol the U.S. Army has chosen for its next generation of soldiers to carry, and about a Northwest firearms manufacturer that is sadly shutting its doors. Speaking of sad, you won't believe the over-the-limit fisherman that got caught that we are featuring this week on our Trail of Shame. This guy is a real doozy. But before we get any further into this edition of America Outdoors Radio, it's time to talk fishing in the Cowboy State. Next on America Outdoors Radio, we continue with our series of interviews about the great state of Wyoming and the outdoors recreation available there. With us here again, Scott Talbot, the director of Wyoming Game and Fish. We talked hunting last time, Scott. Let's talk fishing. When I think of Wyoming, I think trout.
You should think trout, and Wyoming is a great trout state. We have several fabulous rivers. Trout fishing in Wyoming only continues to get better and better. North Platte River, obviously from the Colorado line to just below city of Casper. The upper North Platte and the Saratoga area continues to be one of the finest natural fisheries in the country. And then once you get down below Gray Reef, that continues to be one of the most productive trout fisheries in the world. And that fishing is phenomenal for trout. And we literally have people fishing that every day that there isn't ice off. And in between there is the infamous Miracle Mile. The Miracle Mile continues to be the Miracle Mile, and there is fishing there all the time. Folks are in there. And so, we also have some other rivers in Wyoming that are really coming on, and the Bighorn River below Wedding of the Waters, where you get to Thermopolis in the last few years, has been a phenomenal fishery as well. The Shoshone River, and we've had a lot of partners that have worked with us. We've done a lot of work on the Shoshone River from basically the city of Cody on down, and there is some really good fishing in the Shoshone River there. Obviously, the North Fork of the Shoshone continues to be an outstanding fishery as well. And the Green, and we move over on the other side of the Continental Divide, and obviously the Snake River in Jackson is always a great cutthroat fishery there, but the Green River from Pinedale on all the way down through Rock Springs or Green River is fishing very, very well. And for a person who wants to take a trip on a drift boat or wade fish those rivers, excellent opportunities.
Well, there's few things finer than fishing a trout stream in Wyoming in the summer, having done that myself. But there's more than just trout in Wyoming. I mean, I think the other species kind of get lost because you have so many great trout fishing opportunities. You do have other fish to catch there.
Absolutely, and I'm going to jump back to trout on you for just a minute. One thing I'd like to remind people is our Cut Slam program of recognizing the 4 native cutthroat trout, and if you catch those in their native waters, we will send you a mounting quality poster to recognize that accomplishment. And of course, that's the Bonneville and the Colorado, the Snake River, and the Yellowstone cutthroat. And we have that on our website, and we would really encourage people to take advantage of that. And it's an awesome opportunity.
Well, that sounds like a great resolution for 2017 is to go ahead and get that honor. Again, folks, you're listening to America Outdoors Radio. We're broadcasting from the Flores SHOT Show. Your background noise, that's what it is. It's a big show here in Las Vegas, and we're talking to Scott Talbot, the director of Wyoming Game and Fish. Getting back to other species of fish you can catch in Wyoming.
Other species of fish that you can catch in Wyoming. We have just went through a recent public input process on the management of Pathfinder Reservoir. And the walleye fishing at Pathfinder Reservoir right now is above and beyond phenomenal. A lot of folks out there, big fish and lots of big fish. Glendo Reservoir the last couple of years has been down. We planted about 10 million walleye fry in that reservoir last year, and so we anticipate that it will be coming back in the very near future. And most generally, for those who don't know, walleye in Wyoming are natural fish. We don't plant a lot of walleye, and the only plants that we do get are trades with other states. So we've made a priority to bring Glendo back. Down on the Laramie River where you get into Gray Rocks Reservoir, great fishing there as well. And then, we're seeing some great bass fishing up in the northeast corner of the state and Colony and some of those bentonite ponds up there. And Keyhole Reservoir is full of water again. And it's a great fishery for everything from pike to walleye as well. And I guess I would just like to put a plug in here and let fishermen know that we're being very careful about the possession of live fish. We continue to see some illegal reintroductions that are causing some pretty significant issues to our fisheries management program, and just make sure that folks recognize that we frown on possession of live fish and live wells and ask for their cooperation to make sure that we don't end up with more illegal introductions.
Absolutely. Nobody wins when it comes to bucket biology, folks. Trust me on this. We've got to go, but if you want to find out more about fishing opportunities in the Cowboy State, go to the Wyoming Game and Fish website. Just Google it. You're going to find it right away. Lots of great info, lots of great opportunities. Scott, thank you again.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
Oregon's Tillamook Bay is considered the greatest fishing experience on the West Coast for fall Chinook salmon and winter steelhead, and Dungeness crab is plentiful. 5 major rivers connect with the ocean on the Tillamook coast. It's not unusual to snag a 40 to 50 pounder. Go out in a boat or stand on a riverbank or dock. Try fishing from a dory boat and experience the thrill of a beach launch and landing. Use spinners, sand shrimp, or salmon eggs to lure them. The fish will line up to grab your bait. Go to tillamookcoast.com/fishing to find guides and places to stay.
In Humboldt County, something wild happens in the wintertime. Thousands of visitors swim underwater to Humboldt shores, seeking partners of the opposite sex. We're talking steelhead. January to March, more here than anywhere else in California. And we celebrate with fishing and photo contests and $10,000 in cash prizes. Special access, spawning and restoration tours, films and festivities for the entire family. So drive, fly, or swim underwater to Humboldt Steelhead Days.
Planning your next hunting trip in Oregon or Washington? Our Rams Game Management Unit maps show you the big picture on where you're going, as well as the topography and road trail information to help you get there. And they've got public land information, Game Management Unit boundaries, and UTM information for GPS users to keep you out of trouble. Rams Game Management Unit maps are a great planning tool for safe and successful hunts. Look for Rams maps at your local sporting goods store, or see our entire line of maps on the web at bigskymaps.com.
Service is always cheaper than repair. That's a truism from Ken Estes at Cascade Marine Center in Portland, Oregon. Go ahead and drop by and see Cascade Marine for all of the parts, accessories, and honest advice you need to keep your boat and motor running. No one wants to be the guy plugging the boat ramp up because his boat doesn't start. So head down to Cascade Marine Center in Portland, or give them a call, or check out their website at cascademarinecenter.com.
Tillamook Bay is considered the greatest fishing experience on the West Coast for fall Chinook salmon and winter steelhead, and Dungeness crab is plentiful. 5 major rivers connect with the ocean on the Tillamook coast. It's not unusual to snag a 40 to 50 pounder. Go out in a boat or stand on a riverbank or dock. Try fishing from a dory boat and experience the thrill of a beach launch and landing. Use spinners, sand shrimp, or salmon eggs to lure them. The fish will line up to grab your bait. Go to tillamookcoast.com/fishing to find guides and places to stay.
Have you always wanted to go on an African safari but think it's cost prohibitive? Skip Clemens with Adventure Hunts explains.
Decided when I came back off my first safari, it was such a fantastic experience that I decided to target first-timers and provide information to the sportsmen out there that they can go on an African safari for 8 to 10 days and take 8 to 10 animals for less than they could go on a guided caribou or guided elk hunt.
Find out more at adventurehunts.com. That's adventurehunts.com.
Looking for the safest, most stable riding boat on the market? Welcome to Stabicraft. Born in New Zealand, Stabicraft has a built-in reputation for making the most seaworthy boats on the market. Heavy-gauge aluminum chambered boats with models ranging from 14 to 29 feet in a variety of configurations to suit all your needs. Check out the all-new 2750 center cab, a walk-around design for the Northwest market and packed with industry-leading features to suit all types of fishing, allowing you to adventure with confidence. Book a test ride today at stabicraft.com.
Are you an outfitter, sporting goods retailer, boat dealer, or someone else in the outdoors industry? If you are, you know targeted advertising works best, and what would work better than advertising with America Outdoors Radio? Our hour-long show is heard throughout Seattle, Everett, and the East Side every Saturday morning, and your message will be heard there too. Better still, our rates are way more affordable than you think. Want to find out more? Contact me, John Cruz, through my website at AmericaOutdoorsRadio.com. That's America Outdoors Radio, bringing you more business. Welcome back to America Outdoors Radio. It's the SHOT Show edition, and this portion of the show is brought to you by the American Shooting Journal. It is the publication covering the firearms and shooting sports scene throughout North America. Look for a copy at a newsstand near you. We are broadcasting from the floor of SHOT Show in Las Vegas, Nevada, and there's all sorts of innovative things that you're going to find here. But one of the most innovative things I have found is at the Cobalt Kinetics booth. With us here to tell you more about the incredible firearms they are producing is Skylar Stewart with Cobalt Kinetics out of St. George, Utah. Skylar, welcome to the show.
Thanks, John. How you doing?
I'm doing great. I've been looking at your firearms. The first thing I think is you guys must have came up with these after watching Star Wars and seeing some stormtroopers. That's the closest description I have for these AR platform firearms that you have here. Really futuristic looking.
I appreciate that. When we started the company, we brought in a lot of people from different disciplines.
So are you saying George Lucas designed these firearms?
I wish he had. That would be great. Yeah, that would be great. Our design team, we wanted to design something that functioned better, but we also removed the constraints of what has been built needs to be the foundation of what we're doing. We look at how we can improve the status quo without sticking to traditional
norms. And, you look at ARs, folks, and we all know what they look like. They're all black. They all have the forearm. They all have the same pistol grip. Some of them have a collapsible stock, some of them have a fixed stock, but pretty much they all look the same. No matter what company you're buying an AR from, they all look pretty much the same. These look completely different. Like I said, closest thing I can come up with is what a stormtrooper would have in Star Wars. You don't even have forearm guards on this at all. What is this that you're using for people to hold on instead, and lots of air vents too?
Yeah, these slots are actually M-LOK slots, so you can attach attachments to them if you decide. So it's functional, but we tried to integrate it into the design so it doesn't look like you just stuck it on there, right? So we wanted it to flow really well. Still have a Picatinny rail on the front and the bottom side of the front of the handguard. And you can M-LOK on the sides, on the bottom. So any attachments will still attach. We just didn't like the look of the chunky, big quad rails, and they're a little hard on your hands, and they just take up a lot of room and weight.
Well, and this one has a much sleeker profile, I have to admit. The coatings that you have, all sorts of different colors. Is it Duracoat? Is it Cerakote? What is it?
We use Cerakote. We really like Cerakote. We've tried a lot of different coatings. Cerakote's been really great to deal with, and their finishes are durable, they're strong, they look great, and we're really happy to use Cerakote on our rifles.
So most of your ARs, they're in .223 caliber, but you have a few other calibers as well.
Yes, so .223 Wild is our foundational caliber. We do a lot of competition shooting, long-range stuff. .223 Wild, you can run .556, you can run .223 Remington, you can run a heavier bullet if you'd like, so we find it to be really versatile. One thing we've released here at SHOT Show, we have a short-barreled rifle 300 Blackout, and that works really well. 300 Blackout's a great round. And then we have a few different calibers in our Chris Kyle Frog Foundation, the Legend Series rifles that we're doing,
which we're going to talk about in just a minute. But before we do, folks, you're listening to America Outdoors Radio. We're talking to Skylar Stewart with Cobalt Kinetics about the really futuristic AR-15 platform rifles that they have here. And not only are they futuristic in style, they're futuristic in function, too. You've got a couple of things that you showed to me that are amazing, and one of them has to do with not just one, but two forward assists that allow you to reload and get on target faster.
Yeah, so we have what we call our dual drop system. We have two forward assists on our upper receiver, but we integrated them into the bolt release. And so one thing we realized is that the magazine change is where, a lot of competition matches are won or lost, and that's time that you can't be using the rifle when you reload. So we wanted to speed up the reloads. Taking cues actually from pistols, we integrated the forward assist on each side, so you can just reach up with your thumb to drop the bolt, rather than reaching up with your left hand smacking the side of your the side of your receiver, because then you're knocking your sights off target. Your left hand's busy doing other things when it could be steadying the rifle, getting ready for your next shot. So our competition team, they shaved half a second off their reloads.
And half a second when it comes to competition, that's a lifetime.
Absolutely. I mean, these matches are won in fractions of seconds sometimes, so that really helps.
So on top of that, again, getting back to magazine reloads, you've got something that I thought was incredible in terms of tactical use. Tell our listeners about your CARS option.
Yeah, absolutely. So CARS is a Cobalt Advantage reload system. It's a bit of a mouthful, but we love the way this thing functions. What we did is we realized, okay, you have to use your hands to manipulate a control to drop your magazine, and then you have to use another control to release the bolt. What we did is we engineered it to where when you insert a loaded magazine into the rifle and the bolt's locked back, it automatically drops the bolt, loads the chamber, and you're ready to fire. So you don't have to physically hit the bolt release in order to get back into battery.
But wait, there's more. When that magazine's empty, folks, I was amazed by this. When the magazine's empty, it drops out automatically. You don't have to do a thing, do you?
No, as soon as the The follower is all the way to the top of the magazine. Magazine's empty. It drops out of the rifle itself. And so all you have to do is literally keep this thing fed. You put the magazine in, you pull the trigger. As soon as it's empty, the mag comes out. You just grab another magazine. You stick it in the rifle. You don't have to drop the bolt, drop the mag, anything. It does all of that for you.
Now, again, I can see this for tactical use being a huge lifesaver. But is this being used by competition shooters too? Because I would imagine this shaves off even more time.
We're still working on a couple, finalizing the build. It'll be available in the summer of this year. And so it will be in competition use later this year.
And you're the only company that's doing either one of these things.
Yeah, we have patents on these. We're really trying hard to innovate and outdo ourselves. We want to improve every single year. We see SHOT Show as a great place where we can release our new products. So we plan every single year in January, SHOT Show, to have something new, something exciting, and kind of bust the mold that there's been in the last few years. So, yeah.
I'm telling you, Skyler, you need to go on Shark Tank.
I'd love to.
All right, let's go ahead and change topics to something that I think you're doing that's really great. So you're partnering with the Chris Kyle Fraud Foundation. Chris Kyle, of course, the famous Navy SEAL, the sniper that was killed trying to help veterans heal through shooting.
So yeah, we're really excited to work with the Chris Kyle Fraud Foundation. Taya Kyle, Chris's wife, she heads that up. They do a lot of great work. And so we're honored to be able to offer this line of rifles.
So it's 4 rifles. Why don't you tell our listeners a little bit about them?
Yes, there's 4 rifles. The first one is called the Signature Series. We laser engraved on the rifle itself, Chris Kyle's signature. It's an SPR, Special Purpose Rifle style build. So there's a Signature Series, like we mentioned. There is what we call the Chief, and it's a 6.8 SPC chambered rifle, 14.5-inch barrel. It's a great one. We have what we call the 300 blacked out, so it's a flat black, 300 blackout, great rifle. And we have one we call the Glory, and it's got the American flag in black and dark earth on it. They're great-looking rifles. They function great.
And best of all, these are beautiful rifles. They're sold as a set, and the price point is cheaper than you would expect.
Yeah, we're actually the $18,899 for all 4. Proceeds go to help the Chris Kyle Fraud Foundation. We're really happy to help support that. And here at the SHOT Show, we're actually doing a special. They're $17,500. You can go to the website. It's called thelegendtribute.com. It's launching today. And you can check out them. You can get more information there and actually purchase them through Allegiant Rifle Works in McKinney, Texas.
That's thelegendtribute.com. And before we go, let's give out your website for Cobalt Kinetics.
Yeah, absolutely. www.cobaltkinetics.com.
That's Cobalt with a C, cobaltkinetics.com. Check out these rifles. They are amazing and innovative to boot. Skyler, thanks for telling us all about this on America Outdoors Radio.
Yeah, thank you. It's been great.
Do you long to hunt Africa's most dangerous big game? Big Game Hunting Adventures offers that. Hunting free-range Cape buffalo in some of the wildest untamed country left on the continent. You'll be the only hunting party tracking free-range buffalo on 160,000 acres of land, where the borders of Mozambique, South Africa, and Zimbabwe meet. They include pickup at Johannesburg International Airport, and they're among the most affordable you'll find in all of Africa. Book your safari today at BigGameHuntingAdventures.com.
Low-limit saltwater salmon fishing got you down? Don't be sad. Head to the mighty Columbia River and get into the great steelhead and salmon fishing going on this year. Mike Salazar with Salt to Summit Guide Service is the man to go fish with. He's got over 25 years experience and knows how to catch a limit of fish. In fact, he's so confident in your success, he'll guarantee a fish. Book your Columbia River trip now at salttosummit.com. That's salt, then the number 2, then summit.com.
It's time for another local shot of the outdoors. It's the Pacific Northwest edition of America Outdoors Radio, and you'll only hear it here on Fox Sports 1380 KRKO.
We're broadcasting from the floor of the Washington Sportsman Show in Puyallup. We're talking to Tom Burlingame. He's the owner of XL Fishing Charters out of Neah Bay and CQ. Tom, I understand that Area 5 off of CQ is opening up pretty quick.
Yeah, that's right, John. We're going to open up February 16th.
And I presume you're going after blackmouth.
That's correct. We have a nice blackmouth fishery there where you can keep 2 hatchery fish. You have to release the wild ones, but any marked fish, you can keep them.
How common are the hatchery fish in Area 5?
It is more common to catch a hatchery fish than a wild fish. I would say 80% are hatchery.
Average size and what's considered a big one?
Average size is 6 to 8 pounds. A big one would be in the teens.
All right. Now, CQ is a way out there. It's going to be more than a day trip for most folks. Fortunately, you can help people out with that. You've got a little bed and breakfast, don't you?
Yeah, we do. We have a bed and breakfast between CQ and Neah Bay. It's called the Inn at Neah Bay, and we can help you out there.
Okay, so let's give folks a website so they can find out more about doing some February blackmouth fishing.
You can go to xcelfishingcharters.com. That's xcelfishingcharters.com and get all the information on the fishing and the inn.
XL is spelled E-X-C-E-L. That's xcelfishingcharters.com. Stick around. We're going to talk to Tom again at the end of the show about how to catch those blackmouth. Thanks, Tom.
Thank you, John.
There's a whole bunch more of the great outdoors coming your way on Fox Sports 1380.
Tillamook Bay is considered the greatest fishing experience on the west coast for fall Chinook salmon and winter steelhead, and Dungeness crab is plentiful. 5 major rivers connect with the ocean on the Tillamook coast. It's not unusual to snag a 40 to 50 pounder. Go out in a boat or stand on a riverbank or dock. Try fishing from a dory boat and experience the thrill of a beach launch and landing. Use spinners, sand shrimp, or salmon eggs to lure them. The fish will line up to grab your bait. Go to tillamookcoast.com/fishing to find guides and places to stay.
Looking for a way to get the message out about your business to hunters and anglers throughout the Seattle and Everett area? Then consider advertising with America Outdoors Radio on Fox Sports 1380 KRKO. To find out more, contact John Cruz through his website at americaoutdoorsradio.com.
We are the young minds that will shape tomorrow's world. But today, the world is in your hands. What's your vision for the future? Ducks Unlimited has had the same vision for over 75 years. A future with clean water, abundant wildlife, and plenty of places to enjoy nature. Ducks Unlimited, working for conservation for generations to come.
Welcome back to America Outdoors Radio, the SHOT Show edition, and this portion of the show is brought to you by the American Shooting Journal. When it comes to SHOT Show, you've got a lot of ammunition manufacturers that are here, and one of them we wanted to introduce you to is Black Hills Ammunition. They're based in Rapid City, South Dakota. With us here to tell you more about it is Mike Wright. Mike, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, John. I appreciate being here.
Mike, I've been sitting here watching you, and you've been awfully busy along with the rest of your staff here at SHOT Show. A lot of interest in your ammunition. Why don't you tell our listeners a little bit about your company and the ammo you produce?
Certainly. Black Hills Ammunition got started about 35 years ago by the owner of the company, Mr. Jeff Hoffman. He was in law enforcement at the time, and he was not happy with the ammunition that was available to him for practice, so he started loading his own. From that point forward, his fellow officers saw that his ammunition was better than theirs, so they asked him to load for them as well, which he did, and it just expanded into a business which obviously has grown over the last 35 years to a considerably much larger company.
How big is Black Hills Ammunition now in terms of the number of employees and how much ammo you produce?
We have roughly 75 employees. As far as numbers regarding ammunition, I'm not sure I can tell you. It's in the millions, I can tell you that much.
And some of your bigger customers, are they law enforcement agencies?
We have a number of law enforcement agencies. We do also a great deal with all 4 branches of the military. And again, we also have the consumers as well.
And let's talk about the type of ammunition you produce in terms of calibers.
As far as calibers go, in rifle ammunition, probably the majority of what we sell would be 5.56 or 223 ammunition. Again, we have bullet weights ranging from 36 grains all the way up to 77 grains in the 223 or 5.56 line.
And what about handgun ammo?
Handgun ammunition, we have 380, 38 Special, 9mm, 40 Smith & Wesson, 45 Auto, 44 Magnum, 38, 357, and then a number of cowboy action loadings as well.
You know, I was talking to some of your fellow coworkers here who are not in the customer service or marketing line. They're just people who work here for the company, and I really came away with a good first impression. Let me tell you why. They care. I mean, you can tell they really care about what they do. And one of them was telling me a story about how back at the plant, how your inspectors will get together and how they'll talk about what they're finding, how they'll share that, with the engineers and with the production folks, all for the goal of making a better product, and that they're very meticulous about it. She actually described your ammo as like the craft beer of ammunition. It's just that fine, that meticulous. People care that much about it.
That is true. Quality control is extremely important to us. We actually have more quality control people than we have manufacturing people. And again, the reason for that is we want to produce the very finest ammunition available. Again, a lot of it, as I mentioned earlier, it goes to military, law enforcement. We want to make sure that the ammunition that they are shooting is going to do the job if necessary.
Now, you've got a couple of new products that are coming out this year. Tell me about this extreme low drag round, the Hornady.
Okay, we used to use the Hornady AMAX projectile, which was an excellent projectile, but as Hornady has improved their quality control, they came out with this new ELD-X or ELD-M. The X is expanding, the M is for match, and we said we need to upgrade as well. So we work with Hornady, got some of their product, done a great deal of testing, and found that it is extremely accurate. Again, it is extremely low drag, so it has a flat trajectory, retains its velocity, and then, of course, on impact, it's going to do an excellent job.
Anything else new for 2017?
The big new thing for us for 2017 is a pistol round called the Honey Badger. Now, the Honey Badger is an all-copper projectile. Due to its design and shape, when it hits medium, it causes a radial action, which causes a large wound channel, yet it retains 100% of its weight, gives you good deep penetration, should be excellent for law enforcement, for home defense, and then also in some of the heavier calibers would be excellent for hunting.
Well, there you go. Some great reasons to check out the product line for Black Hills Ammunition. You can look forward to a sporting goods retailer near you, or you can go to their website, blackhills.com. That's blackhills.com for Black Hills Ammunition. Mike, thanks for sharing this with us at SHOT Show here on America Outdoors Radio.
Appreciate being with you, John. I hope you have an excellent show.
Next on America Outdoors Radio, we're leaving SHOT Show and we're heading to the floor of the Seattle Boat Show, which continues this weekend. We are talking to Paul Adams. He is the founder of Stabicraft, a boat manufacturer out of New Zealand, and they make some very different, very tough boats that you can buy here in the U.S. now. Paul, welcome to the show.
Oh, well, hi, John. It's great to be on your show. It's the first time for us, but we're looking forward to having a good chat.
Oh, absolutely. Now, I want to talk about your boats. They look very different than most boats you see out on the waters that fishermen are using. They have an airtight chambered hull design. And I'm just going to ask right off the bat, what does that mean when compared to a standard aluminum or fiberglass boat?
Well, John, I guess if you go right back to day dot, we've been completely different from day one. And the reason we've been completely different from day one is we really derived from a rigid-hulled inflatable. And some commercial abalone divers wanted to have a boat that had more durability, more longevity than a rubber inflatable for their abalone gathering. And they came up with the idea of, well, why don't we roll up some aluminum tubes, weld them together and make them like a rubber inflatable. And so that all the characteristics of a rigid-hulled inflatable is what we have. So that's inherent in our DNA. And I guess looking at that, we said, as we went down the track and evolved, we said, hang on, a rubber boat needs to be round because it's blown up and it's round. But an aluminum tube doesn't need to be round. So we developed and changed the shape over time to a shape that's more conducive to utilizing the space inside the boat while still retaining all those properties that we started out with, like a rigid-hulled inflatable.
Very interesting. Let me ask you, what are some of the advantages that this chambered hull design gives you over other boats? And I'm guessing from the name of your company, stability is one of them.
Stability is definitely one of them. And we've always tried to remain true to that Stabicraft name. So, and everything's a compromise when it comes to boats. Whatever hull you make, if you make it deeper, you compromise something. If you make it shallower, you compromise something else. So we've always done a lot of testing to remain true to our stability, but over the years we've also improved our ride and our performance
Let's talk about the Super Cab series because as an angler, especially if you're a saltwater angler or a big river angler, the Super Cab series, it looks like a fantastic boat to fish out of.
Well, at a certain size and a certain point, it becomes nice to have a full glass enclosed hardtop cabin so that if it's raining heavily, not that it rains heavily up here in the Pacific Northwest.
No, not at all.
Not at all. You've got that shelter and protection. It's not a canvas cover, and you don't have the issues with the clear covers deteriorating over time. So glass is easy to clean. It's easy to see out of. You can run a wiper on it. So it's got all those features. And as we go up in the range of super cabs, the features, you afford more features as you go up in size.
Well, one of them is the 2500 Ultra Cab, and that looks like it's the perfect cruising boat, whether you're in Puget Sound or going up the Inside Passage or in some of the protected waters around Southeast Alaska.
Honestly, that 2500 is our gem. It's the first time that Stabicraft has developed a boat that is absolutely driven to what the needs of the Northwest Pacific boaters have. So we worked with our dealers and end users and tried to understand what they wanted and needed, and then we worked out the features of this boat in order to deliver the Ultra Cab that we had. We get comments like people say, "Oh, it's a modern looking boat." And which was really interesting. And they go, lots of women come inside the boat and they go, "Oh, I like this. It feels good. It's got lots of features." So it's like we've hit the mark.
Well, we have got to go. We are simply out of time. But, folks, if you want to find out about the Super Cab series of boats and more about Stabicraft, go to their website. It's stabicraft.com. And if you're looking to buy a boat in the U.S., there's 3 locations. One of them's in Alaska at Ron's Honda at Soldotna. You can also buy them in Washington at Boat Country in Everett, and in Oregon at Y Marina at Coos Bay. You can find out more about those dealers and about Stabicraft at stabicraft.com. Paul, thanks for telling us all about this on America Outdoors Radio.
John, thanks for your time. It's been a pleasure.
Planning your next hunting trip in Oregon or Washington? Our Rams Game Management Unit maps show you the big picture on where you're going, as well as the topography and road trail information to help you get there. And they've got public land information, game management unit boundaries, and UTM information for GPS users to keep you out of trouble. Rams Game Management Unit maps are a great planning tool for safe and successful hunts. Look for Rams maps at your local sporting goods store or see our entire line of maps on the web at bigskymaps.com.
Have you always wanted to go on an African safari but think it's cost prohibitive? Skip Clemens with Adventure Hunts explains.
Decided when I came back off my first safari, it was such a fantastic experience that I decided to target first-timers and provide information to the sportsmen out there that they can go on an African safari for 8 to 10 days and take 8 to 10 animals for less than they could go on a guided caribou or guided elk hunt.
Find out more at adventurehunts.com. That's adventurehunts.com.
Looking for the safest, most stable riding boat on the market? Welcome to Stabicraft. Born in New Zealand, Stabicraft has a built-in reputation for making the most seaworthy boats on the market. Heavy-gauge aluminum chambered boats with models ranging from 14 to 29 feet in a variety of configurations to suit all your needs. Check out the all-new 2750 center cab, a walk-around design for the Northwest market and packed with industry-leading features to suit all types of fishing, allowing you to adventure with confidence. Book a test ride today at stabicraft.com. Do you long to hunt Africa's most dangerous big game? Big Game Hunting Adventures offers that. Hunting free-range Cape buffalo in some of the wildest untamed country left on the continent. You'll be the only hunting party tracking free-range buffalo on 160,000 acres of land where the borders of Mozambique, South Africa, and Zimbabwe meet. They include pickup at Johannesburg International Airport, and they're among the most affordable you'll find in all of Africa. Book your safari today at BigGameHuntingAdventures.com.
Tillamook Bay is considered the greatest fishing experience on the west coast for fall Chinook salmon and winter steelhead, and Dungeness crab is plentiful. 5 major rivers connect with the ocean on the Tillamook coast. It's not unusual to snag a 40 to 50 pounder. Go out in a boat or stand on a riverbank or dock, try fishing from a dory boat, and experience the thrill of a beach launch and landing. Use spinners, sand shrimp, or salmon eggs to lure them. The fish will line up to grab your bait. Go to tillamookcoast.com/fishing to find guides and places to stay.
In Humboldt County, something wild happens in the wintertime. Thousands of visitors swim underwater to Humboldt shores, seeking partners of the opposite sex. We're talking steelhead. January to March, more here than anywhere else in California. And we celebrate with fishing and photo contests and $10,000 in cash prizes. Special access, spawning and restoration tours, films and festivities for the entire family. So drive, fly, or swim underwater to Humboldt Steelhead Days.
Welcome back to America Outdoors Radio. I'm John Cruz, and this portion of the show is brought to you by California Sportsman Magazine. It is the monthly publication that covers the hunting, fishing, and outdoor scene throughout the great state of California. Look for it at a newsstand near you. It is Sportsman Show season. We've been telling you about a number of them taking place along the West Coast, and we've got some more to tell you about today. With us here to tell you more about shows taking place in Western Oregon, Southern Oregon, in Northern California is Joe Pate. He is the man who puts together the exposure shows every year. Joe, great to have you back on the air.
Hey, John. It's wonderful to be with you once again. We've got a storied history, and it's a pleasure to be with you on Outdoors Radio.
Well, Joe, I'll tell you what. You've got your big show that is coming up this week. It's taking place, it's going on right now for most of our listeners, February 3rd through the 5th. It's the 44th annual Eugene Boat and Sportsman Show taking place at the Lane County Convention Center. Tell our listeners what they're going to find there.
Well, first, John, I think you have to realize that when we play these markets with 500,000 or less people in them, we develop what we call a smaller market approach in which we attempt to demonstrate the outdoor interest of the market and attempt to show the breadth of outdoor recreational opportunities: fishing, hunting, camping, backpacking, hiking, biking, boating, RVing, etc. And so in that regard, we've always had a kind of a approach where we bring in a lot of what we call major attractions. And this year we lead with some things. Of course, we've got all the great exhibitors and advocacy groups and governmental agencies that you'll find typically at an outdoor recreation show. But we also will have great American country TV stars Justin and Anna Scribner of Flippin' RVs and their Neutron, which is a vintage-style travel trailer. We've got a hydroflight exhibition that is truly awe-inspiring, and people will be watching, their mouths will be hanging open. We've got the Generator folks, and the number one pilot in the world will be demonstrating in our 33 by 60 foot pool we call the Aquadrome. Tough Shed is bringing, last year they had the Ultimate Man Cave, and this year they're bringing the She Shed. And yeah, Jonathan and Susan Wood are bringing the live Extreme Raptor Show, which will have daily performances of that, 12 in all over the weekend. So we've got a pretty full schedule of activities and attractions and a great exhibitor base, and we're bursting at the seams here. So I'm really happy to present this to the greater Lane County market.
Well, this sounds like a fantastic show. And folks, I've been lucky enough to attend this show before. It's not a small show. There's really quite a bit to see here. And especially if you're in the market for a boat, there are a bunch of boats. That's why they call it the Eugene Boat and Sportsman Show. Let's move on to your next show, the Serve Pros Sportsman's and October Rec Show, February 17th through the 19th at the Douglas County Fairgrounds in Roseburg. Are all of these great attractions going to be at that show as well?
You know, they are, John, and I have to tell you that we produce 4 of these shows. The Eugene, of course, is our opener, if you will, and then we move down to the Roseburg, Greater Douglas County market with the Serve Pro Sportsman and Outdoor Recreation Show. And yes, all of those attractions we mentioned are there. We also have a show in the Greater Jackson County market in Central Point, Oregon at the Expo there. And we are very proud to present, again, similar attractions, the same, in fact. And then also we move right down to Anderson, California, the March 3rd to 5th, and we do it all again. And you had mentioned the California Sportsman's Magazine, which is, we're proud to say, is one of our sponsors this year down there in that we call the NorCal show in Anderson, California, March 3 to 5.
So the Medford show, that is taking place February 24th through the 26th, folks. And this Northern California show, I think a lot of our listeners on America Outdoors Radio, we've got 5 stations that are in general proximity to this show. So March 3rd through the 5th at the Shasta County Fairgrounds, Anderson, California. I think you're going to see a lot of folks attending there and really enjoying what you have to offer. Is there a website we can send people to find out more about your shows, Joe?
Absolutely. Exposureshows.com, the word exposure. So it's www.exposureshows.com. We're on Facebook. We do have all kinds of different, web blasts that we do, especially with some of this hydroflight exhibit that we have coming this year, which is something that we've never done. I've never seen it on the West Coast, and we're excited about that.
Joe, thanks as always for telling us all about this on America Outdoors Radio.
Well, again, John, thanks for having me, and continued success to you and your programming.
Thanks for that great conversation, Joe. Let's turn our attention to some news, and we'll start off with shooting sports news. The U.S. Army has decided on a new handgun to replace the Beretta 9mm pistol they have been issuing troops for nearly 30 years. It's the Sig Sauer P320, and although it's not an American firearm brand, and neither was the Beretta for that matter, there is a lot to like about this pistol. Max Slowick, writing for Guns America, points out the SIG P320 is a polymer-framed handgun better suited for the dings, drops, and other things that occur when handling a metal-framed pistol in the military. The P320 is also a striker, not hammer-based design, which is easier for most shooters to fire accurately. The P320 is cheaper to manufacture than the Beretta, and its parts are more easily interchangeable as well. Put it all together, and Slowick believes the Army made a smart choice in choosing the Sig Sauer P320 pistol for its soldiers to carry. We've been bringing you audio from firearms-related businesses attending SHOT Show during this broadcast. However, there is one company that was noticeably missing, and they won't be attending SHOT Show next year. The business in question is Olympic Arms, based appropriately out of Olympia, the capital of Washington. The 40-year-old company, makers of AR-15 style rifles and a really cool-looking 1950s era sci-fi styled pistol called the Whitney Wolverine, made the announcement on its website in late January that they were shutting their doors. They do still have some inventory to sell, but all sales are final with no returns and no warranty service. The company's last day of business is slated to be February 28th. And U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service lands are going to be lead-free, at least for now. That's what we learned as outgoing U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service Director Dan Ash had President Obama sign Executive Order 219, banning the use of lead ammunition and any fishing tackle containing lead on U.S. fish and wildlife refuges within 5 years and sooner, if possible. Environmental groups are thrilled. Hunting and fishing groups, not so much. Stay tuned to see whether the Trump administration rolls this order back or not.
It's time for the Trail of Shame.
Shame, shame on you. Shame, shame on you.
From the Outdoor Hub, we learn about the biggest over-the-limit fishing case I have ever heard of. A man in Onalaska, Wisconsin, was caught with more than, get this, 2,500 panfish and pled no contest to 4 citations for exceeding possession limits. Stanley Palksness, 74 years old, is facing over $24,000 in fines for illegally possessing a ridiculous number of panfish. Prosecutors apparently agreed to ask a La Crosse County Circuit judge to impose a $10,000 fine, revoke his fishing privileges for 12 years, and order Palksness to forfeit his 15-foot boat that was seized by authorities. His sentencing will come at a later date. This isn't the first time Wisconsin DNR has had to deal with Palksness either. In 2015, game wardens caught him with 47 bluegills when the daily limit was 25. In this case, authorities found 2,066 bluegills, 418 perch, and 88 crappie in Palksness's boat and house. The possession limits are 50 for each species. If you're wondering what in the world he's doing with that crazy number of fish, Palksness offered an explanation that's just as crazy as the crime itself. Palksness told a warden that he would go to Chicago and sell bags of fish for $5 a piece. The DNR has issued Palksness 7 citations between the years of 1989 and 2011 for exceeding possession limits. Never say never, but hopefully Palksness's fishing days are over. At least we can hope.
Shame on you.
Our next stop on the Sportsman Show circuit is arguably the second biggest show in the entire nation, right behind the huge show in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. It's the Pacific Northwest Sportsman Show. It's taking place at the Expo Center in Portland, Oregon from February 8th through the 12th, and I'll be there Thursday through Saturday at the Northwest Sportsman Magazine booth. Make it a point to drop by our presenting sponsor's booth and give us your business card for a chance to win a month's worth of advertising on this show for free. If you get a chance, go to our website. It's AmericaOutdoorsRadio.com. You'll find previews of what's coming up in the week ahead and a podcast of what happened last week. We've got a Facebook page too. Simply go to Outdoors Radio and you'll find it. And be sure to like our page and go to the post where we're giving away a pair of Leupold binoculars. Tell us what state you're from. You're entered for a chance to win them. Finally, we also air on the internet on WRVO Radio. That website, RenoViolaOutdoors.com. It's an internet station dedicated to outdoors programming throughout North America 7 days a week. The website again, RenoViolaOutdoors.com. That's all for this week. We are in the dead of winter, but that doesn't mean you can't have fun outside. I hope the good Lord blesses you in the week ahead, and remember, it's your country and your outdoors.
It's time for another local shot of the outdoors. It's the Pacific Northwest edition of America Outdoors Radio, and you'll only hear it here on Fox Sports 1380 KRKO.
We're back with Captain Tom Burlingame again with XL Fishing Charters. He told you a little bit earlier in the show about the fact there's a blackmouth fishery that's opening up in February. Now we're going to talk about how to catch them. How are you going about this, Tom?
Well, we troll with downriggers, and we like to troll smaller spoons in the winter. These fish are mainly feeding on candlefish, so smaller presentations like coho killers and 3-inch and smaller spoons work well.
How about coyote spoons? Do they work pretty well in this fishery?
Absolutely. Coyote spoons are great, and again, I would stick to the smaller sizes.
All right, and let's talk color.
Well, I like the ones with a little glow on them, where you're fishing very deep, usually around 100 feet, and you want your gear right on the bottom. It's not unusual to be bouncing your downrigger balls on the bottom, so a little green glow is a good deal.
And speed. And I think this is where most people get it wrong between those who are successful, those who are not successful. How fast or slow are you trolling?
I like to troll a little faster than the average fisherman does. 3 miles an hour is not too fast for blackmouth, and I tend to troll a little faster than the average, but I find that to be more successful for myself.
Well, that is quite the tip. I would never actually imagine trolling that fast. I thought for sure you're going to give me the standard 1.5 to 2 miles an hour. So there you go. There's a hot tip for you in terms of catching some of these blackmouth in Area 5. 2 fish limit, folks, and we need to talk about something else that's coming up a little bit later this year. Halibut fishing. Always good off of Neah Bay. Do we have dates yet?
We sure do. We have 3 solid dates, and that would be May 4th, May 6th, and May 11th. And then after those 3 days, they're going to count the number of fish left in the quota, and there may be additional days after that.
All right, well, there's the dates. You better book them now because they're going to go quick. And the website to go to is xlfishingcharters.com. That's EXCEL fishingcharters.com. Thanks as always, Tom.
Thank you, John.
Pheasants Forever is working hard every day to ensure there's more wildlife habitat for the future. To join us, go to pheasantsforever.org.
Did you check out this month's edition of Northwest Sportsman Magazine? If you didn't, you're missing out, because it's the best publication out there that covers the fishing and hunting scene, not only in Washington State, but in the entire Northwest. Northwest Sportsman Magazine has got great writers and great content you need to have to be successful. Northwest Sportsman Magazine is the publication for you. Find out more at nwsportsmanmag.com or pick up a copy at a newsstand near you.